Welcome back, the rare and valuable coins. Today, we're diving deep into the world of Abraham steel pennies. But not just any 1942 steel penny. We're talking about the ones that sold for thousands of dollars at auction, so let's get started. First up, the year 1943 was pivotal in U.S. history, marked by World War II. The U.S. Mint, due to a shortage of copper during the war, made a major shift in its coinage production, using steel to mint the 1943 1-cent coins instead of the usual copper. These steel pennies, also known as wartime steel cents, are one of the most iconic and curious coins in American numismatics. This shift was part of a broader effort to conserve copper for military use in artillery and other essential items. The steel composition, however, created a unique set of problems for the U.S. Mint. For one, steel is prone to rusting, which is why these coins are often found in varied states of deterioration. In addition to this, the coins were stamped with a zinc coating to prevent rust, but this layer wore off over time, leaving the steel exposed and prone to corrosion. One of the more intriguing aspects of the 1943 steel cents is the presence of errors and unique features. The 1943 large date with the S mint mark stands out among the steel pennies, with a lower mintage compared to some other years. It was struck in San Francisco, which at the time had a high demand for coins. The 1943 wheat steel 1 cent with the S mint mark retained the classic design introduced in 1909 by sculptor Victor David Brenner. On the obverse, you'll find a detailed bust of Abraham Lincoln facing left, with the inscription "In God We Trust" above, "Liberty" to the right, and 1943 as the date. Below Lincoln's portrait is the S mint mark, indicating it was minted in San Francisco. On the reverse side, the design is equally iconic, showcasing two stalks of wheat, a symbol of the nation's agricultural foundation, with the words "E pluribus unum" above and 1 cent and United States of America at the bottom. The steel composition gives the coin a distinctive shine and light appearance, though many of the coins exhibit discoloration due to wear, age, and exposure. What makes this coin particularly valuable is its condition and rarity. Most of these coins were not preserved well, as they were heavily circulated during and after the war. Many 1943 steel pennies were either discarded due to their susceptibility to rust or became damaged through everyday use. Therefore, a well-preserved example with the S mint mark can be a highly prized item in the collector's market. The price for a 1943 steel penny with an S mint mark can vary greatly depending on the condition. In lamination error or dirty condition, it might fetch thousands of dollars, but if you manage to find one that is in better condition, you can expect the value to rise to over $100,000 or more at auction. The 1943 S mint mark steel cent was produced in relatively lower numbers compared to its Philadelphia counterpart, and this rarity adds significantly to its value. The mintage for the 1943 S steel penny is $191,550,000, much higher than other rare coins, but still enough to make this a notable entry in any coin collection. As a result, these steel pennies are not rare in terms of quantity, but finding one in great condition is exceedingly difficult. What collectors often focus on, especially in the case of lamination errors or dirtied coins, is the possibility that these coins were part of historical roles or had been improperly stored, making them even rarer. Some buyers and sellers believe that such coins, due to their imperfections, can be more historically significant than others, and thus their price can sometimes be inflated beyond standard values. Many collectors are drawn to this coin because of its unique history and the many variations that have appeared in circulation. Errors like the lamination peeling that occurs on the steel composition are highly sought after because they tell a story of a coin being produced in wartime conditions. These lamination errors can appear as flakes of the coin's surface peeling off, making the coin visually distinctive. In terms of market demand, coins like the 1943 steel cent with the S mint mark, even in less than perfect condition, often have a strong auction following. Collectors are not only looking for coins in pristine condition, but are also heavily invested in the stories that accompany coins with imperfections. Let's talk about D mint mark steel penny. Similar to the S mint mark coin, The D-Mint mark version of the 1943 wheat steel penny was also a product of wartime necessity. The coin was minted in Denver to meet the high demand for pennies, with over 1 billion steel cents produced that year. This coin, however, comes with its own set of unique characteristics, mainly its error-riddled or dirty condition. Denver's production of steel pennies was larger than that of the San Francisco Mint, but despite this, the D-Mint mark steel cent is still considered a rare find when it's in particular conditions. Steel pennies minted in Denver are often found with more surface corrosion and damage due to exposure to the elements and the coin's highly reactive material. Like the S Mint mark version, the 1943 D steel cent features Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse and 2 stalks of wheat on the reverse. However, the D Mint mark appears beneath the date, indicating it was struck in Denver. In terms of design, there are no fundamental differences between the S and D Mint versions. The 1943 D steel penny is also known for its light, silvery appearance. However, due to wear and exposure, many of these coins have a distinct brownish or rusted tone, contributing to their unique market value when they appear in dirty or laminated conditions. The 1943 steel pennies with the D Mint mark are very similar to the S version in terms of value, but they tend to be a little more affordable. The price for a 1943 steel penny D in dirty condition can vary, typically ranging between $120,000. However, a coin with more severe lamination errors or with particularly rare characteristics may see its auction price climb higher. Coins like these are still valuable in today's market due to their connection to a pivotal moment in American history and their association with wartime production. They are especially desirable among those looking for rare coins with significant historical context, even in poor condition. The 1943 D steel penny had a mintage of 1,093,838,000, the highest of the 3 mints that year. Even though the quantity produced was massive, coins in good or exceptional condition are extremely hard to come by. As a result, many collectors seek out coins in dirty or laminated conditions as a way to own a piece of wartime history, which also drives up demand. Despite the high mintage, the condition of these coins is what ultimately dictates their value in the market. Over the decades, many 1943 D steel pennies have simply deteriorated due to their vulnerability to rust and wear. Collectors are particularly keen on finding the D Mint mark steel pennies with errors, especially lamination flaws, or any coins that have a story to tell through their condition. A coin that displays the dirty condition due to time and circulation can have a unique market value, as it represents the harsh realities of wartime production and everyday life during the 1940s. Numismatists and casual collectors alike find that the unique characteristics of this coin make it an attractive item for their collections. Next up, the 1943 Lincoln wheat cent is one of the most fascinating and historically significant coins in the U.S. minting history. It is particularly known for its transition from the traditional copper alloy to steel during World War II. This change was made due to the high demand for copper, which was being redirected to support the war effort. While most of the 1943 wheat cents were struck in steel, there were a small number of them made in copper due to a minting error, making them incredibly valuable and sought after by collectors. The 1943 steel cent features a distinctive appearance. It's a bright, silvery coin that doesn't tarnish easily. However, the focus of today's video is on the large date variety of this coin, particularly those without any mint mark, which were minted at the Philadelphia Mint. The large date refers to a specific style of the numbers on the coin's obverse, where the 4 in the date is noticeably larger than in other varieties of the same year. 1943 was a tumultuous year in U.S. history, as World War II was in full swing. The need for raw materials for military production led the U.S. Mint to temporarily change its coin production process. Copper, which was essential for ammunition and other wartime materials, was no longer available for use in making pennies. Instead, the Mint switched to a steel composition, resulting in the 1943 steel cents, which are most often encountered in circulated condition. Interestingly, the transition to steel didn't come without its problems. The steel pennies were prone to rusting and were easily mistaken for dimes due to their similar size. This created confusion among the public and made them somewhat unpopular. However, these factors only add to the intrigue and rarity of surviving examples in good condition today. The obverse of the 1943 steel cent features the iconic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. This portrait is one of the most recognized images on American currency. Surrounding Lincoln's portrait is the inscription, Liberty, the year 1943, and the phrase, In God We Trust. On the reverse, the design showcases two stalks of wheat with the words, United States of America, and E pluribus unum above them. The phrase 1 cent is displayed in the center, and the denomination is surrounded by the wheat stalks, which were designed to symbolize the agricultural foundation of the United States. In 1943, the Philadelphia Mint struck over 1 billion steel cents, making it one of the most heavily minted coins in history. However, the most valuable of these are the coins that are in pristine, uncirculated condition. Coins that are in dirty condition but still exhibit some of the steel composition's distinct shine can be valuable in today's market, especially if they feature the large date variety and are in better than average condition for their age. In recent years, the 1943 steel cent, without mint mark in dirty or low-grade condition, has commanded auction prices ranging from $200,000, with examples that exhibit unique or rare characteristics fetching even higher amounts. One particular example that remains highly sought after by collectors is the 1943 steel cent with an unusual error or variation. Collectors often seek out coins that are more than just everyday items. They want pieces that tell a story, that feature specific attributes, and that stand out from the crowd. The 1943 steel cent fits that mold perfectly, especially in its dirty or worn condition. While it may not fetch the astronomical prices of some of its more pristine counterparts, it still maintains substantial collector interest due to its role in U.S. history and its unique composition. The interest in 1943 steel pennies is further piqued by their association with the copper 1943 penny, an error coin that was accidentally produced at the mint during the transition to steel. The discovery of these copper versions was a significant event in the world of coin collecting. The coins, which were meant to be composed entirely of steel, ended up being struck in copper, making them exceptionally rare and highly valuable. A 1943 copper penny can fetch hundreds of thousands of dollars in pristine condition. Even the dirty 1943 steel pennies without mint marks are of great interest to collectors due to their unique place in history. These coins serve as a reminder of the wartime scarcity of metals and the U.S. Mint's efforts to continue producing currency in a difficult time. Many collectors and investors are drawn to this piece of history, making it a steady fixture in auction houses, coin shops, and online markets. Next up is a coin from 1951, the Lincoln Wheat Cent, large date variety, with the D mint mark and a red-colored dirty condition. This coin stands out for several reasons, but primarily because of its design features, historical background, and market value. As with the 1943 steel cent, the 1951 coin was struck at the height of the post-World War II era. By this time, copper had become widely available again for minting coins, and the U.S. Mint was working to maintain a steady supply of pennies for circulation. The 1951 wheat cent features a beautiful rendition of Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse, which remains a staple of U.S. coinage. The reverse shows two wheat stalks encircling the words 1 cent, representing America's agrarian past. However, the most valuable coins in this series are not just any 1951 pennies. They are the large date variety, produced in significant numbers that year. The large date variety refers to the numerals of the date being larger and bolder than those on the 1951 small date cent. These coins are distinguished by the size and placement of the numbers, and they are typically found to be more desirable among collectors. The post-World War II years were marked by economic growth and a resurgence of prosperity in the United States. The mint had resumed regular coin production after the war, and by the 1950s, it was once again striking copper pennies for circulation. The 1951 wheat cent series was part of this larger effort, and while it is not considered one of the rarest in terms of mintage, its design and historical context still give it a special place in the hearts of collectors. The large date variety of the 1951 wheat cent is also notable for its design differences, which add to its value on the market. Though not a drastic departure from earlier designs, the subtle differences in the size of the numbers help distinguish this variety from its smaller date counterparts. As mentioned, the obverse of the coin features Abraham Lincoln's portrait, and on the reverse, two wheat stalks surround the words United States of America. The coin was minted in copper and exhibits a classic look typical of wheat cents produced in the first half of the 20th century. However, the distinguishing characteristic of this particular coin is its mint mark placement. The D mint mark, found on coins produced at the Denver Mint, is often the source of much interest for collectors looking for varieties. In addition to its historical design, the dirty red color that can be found on some of these coins adds to their charm, giving the coin an aged appearance that many collectors appreciate. The red tone typically signifies that the coin has been circulated, and in some cases, collectors enjoy the patina that builds up over time, making each coin unique. The 1951 large date penny, while not exceedingly rare, is still of interest to many collectors, particularly those looking for coins from this era. The mintage for this particular year was quite high, with the Denver Mint producing over 200 million coins. However, as is often the case in coin collecting, the coins that survive and maintain their quality are few and far between. In dirty condition with a red hue, this coin has a significantly lower market value than its uncirculated counterparts. However, even in such a state, a 1951 large date cent with a D mint mark can fetch anywhere from $150,000 in auctions, depending on the condition and rarity factors such as additional wear or unique errors. Coins with lower grades and patina, while not the highest valued, are still highly sought after due to their uniqueness and historical significance. The 1951 large date penny is also of interest to collectors because it can occasionally show signs of errors or variations in the minting process. Any unusual characteristics or deviations from the standard die design can make these coins much more valuable. Collectors who specialize in error coins often seek out these rare varieties, adding further depth to the demand for this particular coin. Next up, we have the 1958 Abraham Lincoln Wheat 1 cent with a large date and a D mint mark. This particular coin, although it might seem like just another penny at first glance, has garnered significant attention in the coin collecting community, especially due to its unusual condition, what we call that red color, dirty condition coin. Let's start with the history. The 1958 wheat penny was issued by the United States Mint during a very pivotal time in American history. This coin marked the final year of the classic wheat penny series, which had been in circulation since 1909. After 1958, the design would change to the Lincoln Memorial design, which we know today. The 1958 date is thus significant as it marks the end of an era. The 1958 wheat cent features the iconic design of Abraham Lincoln, facing right, created by sculptor Victor David Brenner. The reverse features two sheaves of wheat stalks, which is why these coins are commonly referred to as wheat pennies. What sets the 1958 coin apart, however, is its large date format, which was used for that particular year. The large date style is often a defining characteristic for collectors looking for certain coins from specific years. On the obverse of the coin, we also find the D mint mark, indicating that it was produced in Denver. This mint mark is crucial for determining the coin's origin and potential rarity. For the 1958 penny, the D mint mark is fairly common, but condition plays a big role in determining its value. In terms of mintage, the 1958 Lincoln wheat cent was produced in massive quantities, with a total of approximately 1.5 billion coins struck. Given this large mintage, it might seem like the 1958 penny would be easy to find, but that's where things get interesting. Coins with a D mint mark in certain conditions, especially with unusual characteristics like being in red color and dirty condition, are increasingly rare. The term red color, dirty condition might sound a little counterintuitive to those unfamiliar with coin grading, but it refers to the coin's appearance. The term red indicates that the coin's original copper color has been preserved, showing minimal wear or discoloration. However, in this case, the coin is considered to be in dirty condition due to its exterior, which has some wear, tarnishing, and dirt buildup that often results from years of circulation in less than ideal conditions. Despite its somewhat worn appearance, the 1958 large date Lincoln wheat cent with the D mint mark in dirty condition can still fetch a significant sum at auction. The value of a coin like this is largely dependent on its rarity in its current state. While it may not have the sharp details of an uncirculated coin, collectors are still drawn to it due to its age, historical significance, and unique condition. For a coin in this particular state, you could see it fetch anywhere from $89,000 at auction, depending on its overall grade and collector demand. Some rare examples have been known to sell for even more if they exhibit unique or significant errors, or if the market is particularly hot for that year's issue. Collectors of the Lincoln Wheat Cent series are always on the lookout for coins in any condition, but pieces that hold unusual characteristics, such as this one, are often more desirable. The unique state of the 1958 large date, especially in dirty red color, adds to its charm for collectors who focus on the full range of coin conditions, from mint state to circulated and well-worn examples. Next, we have the 1939 Abraham Lincoln Wheat 1 cent, this time with a large date and an S mint mark in fine condition. The 1939 coin is an excellent example of the mid-20th century issues in the Lincoln series, and it's one of the coins that draws particular attention due to its rarity and desirability. The 1939 Lincoln Wheat cent was produced in the midst of the Great Depression, a time when the U.S. economy was struggling, and many Americans were trying to recover from the devastating effects of the stock market crash of 1929. The 1939 penny was minted at 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The S mint mark indicates that this particular coin was minted in San Francisco. Like all Lincoln Wheat cents, the 1939 penny features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, along with the 2 stalks of wheat on the reverse. What makes the 1939 coin stand out is the large date design, which was used for that year's production. The large date was also used in other years, but the 1939 penny is one of the more sought-after large date versions due to its relative rarity. Approximately 1.1 billion 1939 Lincoln Wheat cents were produced across all minting locations, making it more common than some other years. However, the coin minted in San Francisco is harder to come by in higher grades. For collectors, finding a 1939 with an S mint mark in fine condition can be quite a discovery. Coins in fine condition have moderate wear, with most of the details visible but softened. In the case of the 1939 Lincoln Wheat cent, a coin in fine condition would still show Lincoln's features on the obverse, though some of the finer details might be less distinct. The reverse side will show the wheat stalks with some loss of definition, but not so much as to make them unrecognizable. This coin is a perfect example of a piece that has circulated but retains enough charm to be valuable. At auction, the 1939 large date with an S mint mark can be quite valuable, especially in fine condition. Depending on the level of wear and the current demand for this particular year and mint mark, this coin can fetch anywhere from $15,000 or more. The price is heavily influenced by the rarity of the San Francisco mint mark, the coin's grade, and the current interest in this series among collectors. Much like other Lincoln Wheat pennies, the 1939 large date with S mint mark is highly sought after by collectors. But what makes it especially appealing is its place in history, the scarcity of the S mint mark version, and its overall aesthetic appeal. Many collectors are drawn to the S mint mark coins because they were struck in relatively smaller numbers compared to the Philadelphia and Denver mints, which increases their desirability. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of valuable coins, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to Valuable Coins for more expert insights on rare and valuable coins from all over the world. Have a coin you're curious about? Drop a comment below and let's discuss it.